T-minus 20 seconds and counting.
Police are firing tear gas.
We have ignition sequence start.
Yeah, it means we're about to get out here in the street.
12, 11, 10.
We want to choose our president because we want to take this country into the future.
It is a new world record!
Liftoff.
We're on the way. Roger, we confirm.
Hey, this is Bryn from Riot, and welcome back to The Big Picture, where we bring you the news in virtual reality. This episode, we focus on East Africa, where we join our friend Austin on the front lines of the poaching crisis. He's in Nairobi, where Kenya is burning their ivory stockpile as the rest of the world watches.
It's been 6 months since Kenya took the world stage and burned its ivory stockpile. Over 100 tons of tusks were all that remained of the tens of thousands of elephant lives lost. As the Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species, also known as CITES, gathers in Johannesburg, South Africa this month, Zimbabwe and Namibia have petitioned CITES to remove their elephants from CITES protection in an effort to profit from the sale of their ivory stockpiles rather than destroy them. The opposition to this idea is led by Kenya, who assert that ivory should have no value and that it should be made taboo by burning it. The Great Elephant Census, led by billionaire Paul Allen, has found that over the last 7 years, Africa has lost 1/3 of its elephants. The loss is more pronounced in some African nations than in others. While Zimbabwe claims to have a stable elephant population and wants to profit from the sale of their ivory, Tanzania has lost 60% of its elephants to the same ivory trade in just 5 years. A study published in June of 2016 by the National Economic Research Bureau found that the surge in demand, which led to the devastation in Tanzania, was in part stimulated by a one-time sell-off of Japan's ivory stockpiles. Why Zimbabwe and Namibia would expect a different result is a good question. A better question is, how long will groups like Kenya's David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust have to rescue and raise orphans like these who have lost their elephant families to the ivory trade? Perhaps the end of the ivory trade will only come when we realize that some things are priceless.
From Nairobi National Park, we take you to Kenya's northern frontier, where an annual camel race seeks to break the cycle of intertribal violence.
Okay, hold on. Let's back up a bit. This is Maralal, a mountain oasis nestled in the middle of Kenya's arid and unforgiving northern frontier, known mainly for cattle raiding and intertribal conflict. These are Murani, Samburu warriors who graze their livestock in hostile territories until they're ready to get married. But for 1 weekend a year, they put down their rifles, and instead of raiding another man's livestock, they race them. Behold the 26th Maralal Camel Derby, by far the biggest day of the year in this Wild West town. Upwards of 50,000 people came together this August to crown a champion. Let's meet a contender.
Mimi naitwa Ngirizingat.
Alafu kesho,
Kesho,
kwa nini utashinda?
kesho nashinda tu.
The rules are simple. First camel to cross the finish line with his rider wins. Meanwhile, back at the Jockeys Club.
I'm Barak Lapalo from Maralal, Samburu. I'm ready for tomorrow, camel race tomorrow, 42 kilometers. So last year I was number 4, but this year I try to be number 1 for this year. Hard, very hard, but I try. Yes. I have a special sound. When I say ta 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 ta, and then my camel now that run very very fast. Yeah.
10,
Let the games begin. Every jockey has his own strategy.
Ukichoka napanda juu ya ngamia. Sasa ngamia anaenda.
The course runs 42 kilometers through the villages surrounding Mar-a-Lago, all under a grueling midday sun. But a $700 first-place prize keeps things competitive. And as is the case all too often in Kenya, as soon as the judges are out of sight, a few rules get bent. These guys were switching jerseys and taking turns resting on motorcycles. It turns out camel racing is less about speed and endurance, and more about managing the mind of the camel, who isn't always interested in completing the race. And at the finish line, our champion arrives. Meanwhile, mid-course, Ngirisingat and Barak are nowhere to be found, presumably having succumbed to the will of their stubborn beasts. Oh well, they'd say. There's always next year. Anyways, the real winners are the people of Mar-a-Lago and Samburu County, who, for one weekend, celebrated their magnificent cultures in peace.
Thanks for becoming the story with us. We look forward to having you join us at the Big Picture next time.